Three main roots of procrastination, okay? Now, first things first, this is my first video ever doing this stuff like this. Personally, I never like talking on the camera, giving live speeches. I really don't like doing this, but somehow I'm here, okay? Now, first things first, before you crucify me and say, yo, buddy, this is the Nero knowledge method. I actually watch his content, and this is kind of part of the reason why I got inspired. There's a whiteboard on my wall. This had a bunch of things before on it. I'll put a screenshot, but yeah. So this is low-key like a low-budget Nero knowledge. I don't have an AJ, so before you say, oh buddy, oh where's your AJ shit, you're copying Nero knowledge, buddy, I don't have any of this. And if it was my choice, I wouldn't be doing this, but I think God wanted me to do this. But yeah, essentially, I'm going to be talking not about spirituality like he does, but I'm going to be talking about, there's two things that I've released. So I've released a book called, hold on, Don't Leave It Till Later, and The Power in Saying No. So now these books are going to be the bread and butter of this channel. I'm going to be talking about two main things, and obviously other things as well included. But the first thing I'm going to be talking about is procrastination and the ability to be able to say no to people, okay? When we talk about no, we might use some frequency. I might reference some stuff from Nero. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about the three main roots of procrastination. Now, if you clicked on this video, it's quite clear. You procrastinate. You're a little dirty procrastinator. That's what you are. You're a little dirty. Basically, we're going to be talking about the three main roots of procrastination, and based on the book and what I've studied, we're going to be able to diagnose it. Now, procrastination has many heads, okay, and to be able to figure this out and to help you, buddy, because you're cooked, it's the end of summer and you haven't done anything, we need to kind of figure out where things came from, okay? So I have been like studying procrastination a little bit, not avidly, but you know, kind of here and there. And I also on TikTok, I've been making content on procrastination, and oh my god, it even sticks to the wall. Low-key, I'm starting to feel like Nero. All I need is my shit. All I need is my shades. Nero, dead ass. Nero, be honest. Do I look like you? Nero, be honest. Three roots of procrastination. So I'm gonna write them down. So with procrastination, and bear with me, this is my first video, so I'm kind of a noob at this. With procrastination, okay, and I feel like I should move the camera back a little bit. Move back. Yeah, move back. Back up. So with procrastination, there's three main roots, okay? So we have fear of failure. I hope you can see that, bro. Fear of success. You've probably not heard of this one. You might have, who knows. And low self-worth. These three roots, okay, 1, 2, and 3, are all things that happen, or they're like kind of the back step towards the big word we call procrastination, okay? Now, think about anytime you want to jump into a task, okay? You come into your room, come back from a long day of work, and you want to work in that business, and you're like, damn, let me get into work. That has never ever worked for you in this life, and probably never will, okay? The reason why is because you can't just jump in to work and expect things to work. It's just like, if you've watched Nero or any of that type of content, that's like you trying to change an effect by changing an effect. It's just simply not going to work. You need a system. I read a book called I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with Atomic Habits, okay? Now, Atomic Habits talks about how to fix your habits by changing your systems, okay? Your systems refer to the framework and kind of the, let's just say, like your protective gear, okay? If you want to hop into battle, you're not going to run in there with leather armor trying to kill the 99 boss. It's just not going to work, buddy, okay? The same way you're jogging there is the same way you're going to be jogging for your life, because the monster's going to eat you raw, gang. Now, first root we're going to talk about is fear of failure. So let's get rid of these two, okay? Now, the fear of failure, and people talk about this massively online, like you've heard this term all the time, fear of failure, I'm scared of failing. Oh, no, I don't want to fail, no! Fear of failure, and why it's so preached, is because it is something that everyone has. And before we continue, I want to let you know, every person has all three roots I described. Every person has all three roots that I described. However, there will be one root that is much deeper than the others. So, if you think, and I'm going to give you peace of mind here, if you feel like you need to conquer all three roots and conquer all three, roots of procrastination, you don't. You need to find the root that's the deepest. You need to find the deepest root and uproot that. Because what will that do? This is such a terrible tree. What that will do is, when you uproot this tree, the whole thing will come up. You can uproot this shorter root, okay? But the tree, this is such a bad representation, buddy. If you uproot the root on this side, okay? Let's say, for example, this is fear of success, and low self-worth. And this one right here is fear of failure, okay? You uproot the fear of success, okay? The tree will tilt. And sure, you might get the job done, but then you're also going to need to still uproot fear of failure to really, really get into the nitty-gritty. And even if you don't uproot it, what's going to happen is if you keep pushing the tree, it's going to snap and it's going to leave a stump. So cool, you've overcome the fear of success, but now you still have the fear of failure and low self-worth in there. So it is much easier and much more effective for you to target the deepest root. And how do you know what the deepest root is? I'm gonna tell you that right now. Alright. Well, not right now, in a couple minutes, in a couple, like 2 to 3 business minutes. So, fear of failure. Let's look into what fear of failure is and what it's about. So, number one, fear of failure, okay? You've heard the term. If you are afraid of failure, okay, I'm gonna make this very, very simple. You are simply afraid of judgment. Okay, that's it. You're afraid of judgment. The reason why you're afraid of failing is because you are going to be judged by others. You believe you're going to be judged by others. If you fail, mom is going to get mad. If you fail, auntie is going to say, oh, you're so terrible. Oh, I told you this thing won't work. People are going to laugh at you. People are going to make fun of you. You feel embarrassment. You feel guilt. You feel shame, gang. You feel shame. Ashamed of yourself. All right? You feel shame. And that is the emotion you're trying to avoid. You're not trying to avoid the task. You're trying to avoid the feeling of failure if the task is not done. Okay? So, now that we figured out that the fear of failure is really just a fear of judgment and a fear of shame, okay, where did this come from? Because before you try to fix something, okay, you have to realize and ask yourself the question, where the hell did it come from? Because we didn't just wake up one morning and we was like, yo, let's go. I have a fear of failure. Let's go. No. Okay? Okay, so there's 2 people on this board right here, okay? Can you see that? Jeez, it's a bit far, isn't it? Cool. There is 2 people on this board right here. I want you to tell me the difference between these 2 people. Oh, no. I know. One of them don't have arms. Okay. Now, what's the difference now? You got it wrong. This one is a child. You probably did get it right, but I don't care. This one is a child, and this one is an adult. What's the correlation between this one and this one? Exactly. Both of them are you, okay? Now, when you were a child, the reason why fear of failure is so present in your mind today is because when you are a child, the things I just described, embarrassment, guilt, shame, by all these people, okay? All these circles are people, by the way. They're not just random dots. Imagine this is all these people, right? Anytime you failed at doing something, they will condemn you. They will make fun of you. They will judge you for it. They will say you're silly. They will say you're stupid. They say, oh, wow, what the hell? You didn't even do that, right? Ah, you're such an idiot, bro. Boom. That's fear of failure. You would feel embarrassed. Think about it this way. If you are like a teenager or you're in school right now, yeah? You might go to school and the teacher might ask a question. You're like, yo, raise your hand. Who knows what 5 times 6 is, all right? Who knows what 5 times 6 is? And you're like, miss, I do. And then you say 25 rather than saying 30. Now, in class, now you're going to look like an idiot and everybody's laughing at you. Everyone's taking a piss because clearly you're that one silly you that decided you was going to be the alpha male and make the shit work, but everyone's laughing at you. And what? You feel embarrassed, you feel guilt, you feel shame, you even feel stupid for putting your hand up. That's why the fear of failure is present. Let's look at other things in the childhood, yeah? Let's look at other things in childhood that caused you to feel afraid of failing. Right, big actually. I've gotten so used to my inverted side to the point where I know this video is inverted, but like, bro, when I flip this, I'm probably gonna look majestic. Am I inverted? Maybe I am inverted, maybe I'm not. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, cool. Fear of failure. As children, when we are young, one thing every child seeks is their parents' approval. It is as undeniably the truth. You don't come here in my video, in my comment section talking about some, nah bro, I was that one nonchalant kid bro, I didn't need my parents' approval. I came out the womb my mom walking. I came out of my mom's room walking. I didn't even walk. I didn't even ask for help. I just came out the room walking. You're not that kid, bro. Shush. Parents' approval. Okay? People who program you the best. Okay? People who can program you and have the most influence over you is your parents. Your parents, and that's why I say, if you have good parents, it's like, I think this is statistically proven, but if you have very good parents who believe in you, who give you confidence, who do everything for you and make sure you feel good, even if they don't give you any money, if they continue to support you mentally, emotionally, and physically, you are going to be successful. You are going to be more successful than the average person. Because why? When we are younger, we have this thing called in our brain called the subconscious mind, okay? The subconscious mind goes through programming through our whole life, especially when we're younger, okay? The reason why the younger age is so prime, that sounds paused, that sounds like some Diddy shit. And I've got lotion up there. This does not look good for me. But the reason why the younger age, Jesus Christ, all right, let me just walk out the frame. Let me just talk to myself. What was that about? I'm sorry. I can't. Go back. The reason why the younger age is the bit where you get manipulated the most or you get programmed the most is because, like I said, you are very perceptible to everything. You don't know what's right or wrong. You don't know what's left and right. You just know that this is this and that is that, okay? So parents' approval is a very important thing. You may have gotten your fear of failure from your parents, and before you go to your mom and dad and punch them across their face and say, you're the reason why I'm sucking at life, okay? Bro, that's not going to get you anywhere, okay? The best thing to do is to be able to focus on yourself and put that energy towards yourself. Parents' approval in the sense of, if you ever tried something and they said it was silly, or if you ever gave suggestions. For me personally, when I was growing up, I was a talkative. I talked a lot, okay? I was like, meow, 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 meow. And my mom and dad, as any parent would do, would be like, yo, bro, shush, okay? Not out of disrespect, not be like, shut up, idiot. But everyone's parents is like that. Or maybe your parents like that. Maybe you can relate, maybe you can't. But your parents' approval is something you seek. Your parents can determine whether you become successful in life or not. But they are not the only factor. I would say they're 20%. Even though they have a lot of influence over your life, it is not about who they are, it's about what they did. Now, you can undo everything that they did, okay? Because you have to understand that you are the most powerful thing that you have ever made, okay? And if you don't know what I'm saying, shout to Neural Knowledge. That's where I learned it from. Parents' approval. If they ever made fun of you or disrespected you or in any way, shape or form invalidated anything you wanted to work on, okay, then you might have a fear of failure because you now feel for the rest of your life that you need to make it up to them, or you kind of need to chase their validation that mom, dad, oh, I need to chase your validation. I need to make sure you're proud. How many of you guys are actually doing things you want and are not doing the things you want because you want to make your parents happy? Oh, wait. Some of you guys are doctors, knowing that you don't want to save lives. You want to save your own life. Damn, that was so... Man, I would have said that's a bar, write that down. That's going to be copyright. I might get attacked. Okay. But anyways, some of you guys might want to save life, but the lives that needs to be saved is your own. Some of you guys want to be firefighters, but the only fire is within... Look at me trying to be motivational and shit. But the point of the matter is, you're probably not doing what you want. You're probably doing what you're given. And what I just said is relating to the power in saying no. That book is going to help you a lot, okay? We're going to make videos on that. But parents' approval. Take note of that. Now, the next thing that it falls down into, and before I continue, let me just see how much camera storage I got. Okay, I got 1 hour, 4 minutes. Cool, we got time. Next thing, friends, okay? Now, parents' approval, I would age that from, I should have wrote that down. For the parents' approval, I will put that in the age category from, let's say, 2 to 7 years old, okay? 2 to 7 years of age, you're seeking your parents' approval, and if they mess you up, you get cooked, etc. You're always going to be chasing the validation. Cool. Next best thing we have is friends. Friends, okay? Friends are another thing that allow you to feel afraid, okay? If at home, you're at the house, yeah, and your parents or your family is not the type of family that has or shows a lot of love, okay? Everyone is closed off and you feel too scared to share anything with your family, or you don't tell your mom and dad what you're doing. Because me personally, growing up, I was like that. Anytime I did, because I have African parents, I don't need to explain. I would not really explain to them the things I was doing. I would go out with my friends and not explain. Things happen outside. It's not like I was doing drugs or anything, but things would happen outside. I wouldn't tell them because there wasn't that relationship built. Things have gotten better. I've grown up. We've all grown up. We're all adults now. But you can't change the past to an extent. And you can't really change the past by the way you look at it. So I guess you can change the past. But to those who aren't willing, then that's a different story. Friends, okay? you can also be chasing your friend's approval too. There's a lot of you guys who say, oh, I can't think unless my friend is with me. Me and Shaniqua need to go get matcha together so I know what to do. Yeah, let's go. Your buddy, you're cooked. You're cooked. No, don't argue. Don't argue. You're cooked. You're cooked. Alright. Friends, okay? That could be another thing. You can be afraid of, you can be afraid of failing because your friends might make fun of you. Okay? If you tell them, yo, bro, I'm working on this business, they coming back to you in 2 weeks, they'll be like, bro, how's that business going? How's that little business going? You'd be like, oh shit. So you don't even want to embarrass yourself. You don't want to even waste your time. What's the point, bro? What's the point? If I'm going to be working on something and I'm going to be pushing for this, what's the point of my friends coming back and making fun of me? I'd rather not even start. That is literally how you feel. And here's the last thing. And arguably one of the most important that started to happen when you became wiser. Comparison. Comparison, and as they say, the thief of joy is comparison. Comparing yourself to people online, people your age, people that are younger, okay, is one of the things and one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Fear of failure stems from comparing yourself, okay? Because say you go on TikTok and you see the 50th 20-year-old talk about how he parked his Ferrari SP90 whatever inside a garage and it crashed. You're like, dang, those are the type of problems I want. Why not me? You're comparing yourself, and when you think that maybe I can do it, but you be like, oh, never mind. Shit, if I do that, I might lose. I might suck. If I make a video talking about what he's talking about, people won't want to listen to me. People will be saying that, oh, look at him, he's trying to be the next. You know what I'm saying? Take this for example. I'm making a video talking about on a whiteboard, the same format as another YouTuber called Nero Knowledge, who I watch, okay? If I was afraid of failing and not knowing that this would succeed, number one, if I already didn't believe in myself, I wouldn't, there's no point doing this video. If I already didn't believe that this video was already gonna get over 100,000 views, there's no point even doing this video, okay? Because I've already failed. You failed before you even failed, okay? It's a frequency thing. But, for example, I could be afraid to even make this video because I feel like I would be judged. I would compare myself, be like, oh, he has this amount, I don't have this amount. Oh no, his people gonna go. I could overthink so many different things, okay? And I'll be afraid to fail. But you have to understand, yeah? I want you to understand this one thing, and I'm going to repeat this over and over and over again throughout this video, okay? Failure is a process, not a result. You've heard this multiple times on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, on IG Reels, in books. Failure is a process. Do you understand? The same process you close your eyes and go to sleep, and you have to pretend to fall asleep to sleep. That is a process. The same process where you have to give in your information to open a bank details. That is a process. The same process where you need to go downstairs, warm food, put it in the microwave, get a spoon, eat the food, and enjoy the food. That is a process. Failure is a process, not a result. It is not the end result. It is never going to be the end. It is only going to be the next step, okay? So next time you feel like, oh, I'm afraid of failing, it is a process. Do you know how many times I failed in order to get here? I love this shit. I built this shit brick by brick. Failure is a process, not a result. That's for my people who have a fear of failure. Now, from my book, I'm going to give you guys a prompt. This book is available on TikTok Shop, Amazon, and I've also made a website. It is coming soon. So I'm going to leave it down below. To the people, I know the majority of people like to order on Amazon, and if you order on Amazon, that would mean a lot to me. Give the book a review and stuff like that. I want to know your opinions. But yeah, to the people who are afraid of failing, let me ask you this one question, okay? This is a journaling prompt, okay? This is a journaling prompt. And I'll go over the book at the end of the video, and I'll explain what the book is about. What did you learn to believe about yourself when you didn't get it right? I'm gonna leave you to sit with that. If you have a book and paper, go ahead and rewind what I just said and write down, what did you learn to believe about yourself when you didn't get it right? Did you learn to believe that you are incompetent? Did you learn to believe that you are useless? Did you learn to believe that you're not allowed to win or succeed? I'm gonna let you sit with that. Now, second root. This one right here is kind of hit close to home because it's something I used to struggle with. And people don't talk about this enough. People do not talk about this enough. I'll be so real. People don't talk about this enough. I'll tell you that. And this root is is so niche, but I know that this is probably a lot of people. And when I first heard about this, I didn't actually believe this because I didn't believe being afraid of succeeding was a real thing. It's such a paradox. Fear of success. Yes, fear of success. Fear of success suggests that you are literally afraid of succeeding. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, I'm going to give you guys some examples because this is something I used to have. Have you ever posted a video on TikTok or Instagram? Or have you ever, worked in a business, sold a product or anything, and you see a random boost? It's like it's doing unusually well. Like you're in the middle of witnessing a blow up, and your first reaction is fear. You're like, oh shit, it's actually working. What the fuck? Like, oh shit, oh damn, wait, no, it's actually working. That's different from being excited, by the way. That's different from being like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. Thank God, I'm so grateful. I'm so happy and grateful. I'm so thankful and grateful that this shit's working. Like, here we go. About time, like, yeah, come on, bro. Let's move on to the next thing. No, there's a difference between, oh shit, it's actually working. What the hell? That's fear of success for you, buddy, okay? That's something I used to go through. Anytime I would post a video on TikTok, because obviously as you guys can see the YouTube flag there, I've been on YouTube, I've posted, I've been making content, and I will continue to make content. You know what I'm saying? I stream, make videos, and that is kind of the end goal. So the reason why God took me on this path to be teaching guys on a whiteboard to not procrastinate, I don't know. I've been asking God to, he took me on I wrote books. I'm supposed to be, I thought I was gonna be a streamer, writing here books. Maybe my path is different. Maybe I thought I was gonna do something and God wants to take me on another way. But who knows and who cares? Fear. I would be afraid that when I would post a video and it would actually work, it would actually work, and I'll be scared. I'll be like, what the hell? Boy, ain't no way this shit is working. And it sounds ridiculous until you're actually the person who has this root. It actually sounds stupid until you're actually the person when you post the video and you feel it in your gut, by the way. You feel it in your gut. This is where your nervous system is. Your nervous system cannot contain this level of success. You're actually afraid. You're like, what the hell? Why is this working? This shouldn't be happening right now. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're saying it out loud, but you're feeling that. You know what I'm saying? And the minute you feel that, it's not coincidence. Once you feel that, it plummets. It just goes, because what you tell the universe, and this is not a spiritual video, but what you tell God and what you tell the universe is that, no, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. Boom. Now, I'm going to tell you an interesting paradox, okay? Whatever you fear, you attract. And this is not a spiritual video. I'm telling you, whatever you fear, you attract, and whatever you love, you attract. So if you're afraid of success, you're still going to see success. But you're going to keep being afraid of it, okay? You're going to be afraid of it, and it's going to happen. And you're going to be afraid of it, and it's going to go away. Because you're going to love not succeeding, but you're going to be afraid of succeeding. So what's going to happen? You're going to keep succeeding, but you're going to love the idea of not succeeding without you realizing. And you already know, you just self-sabotage yourself, by the way. So you will get to the next height, you will get to the next level. Everything will be working. Boom, 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 boom. And you will love the idea. You will love not succeeding. So what will happen? And you don't believe me? It is a very, very real thing. If this is your root, I'm going to diagnose it right now. This is how you know this is your deep, deep main root. And you know, okay, don't ask me, how do I know which one is my main one? You know which one is your main one because that's the one you feel most strongly about. Listen to your heart. What is your heart saying? Like I said, all three roots you will still have. You will feel fear of failure, you will feel fear of success, and you will also feel low self-worth, okay? But the root you feel the most strongest will be evidence. When the time comes, when situation presents itself, it becomes. If you, for example, I'll give you some examples to quickly diagnose before I write the action marathon. Let me write down this so I don't forget it, okay? I did not spell this right. Okay, if you insist to know, how do I know which root is mine? If you have the fear of failure, then you probably won't even post a video or publish anything. You'll be too scared to do it, okay? That's self-explanatory, okay? But you won't be afraid of really succeeding. What you're afraid of is really just getting started, okay? You're just afraid of boom. Because once you get started, you're gonna keep going. That's the thing. You're just afraid of starting. Once you start and you dip your feet in the water and you realize that damn, it's not that bad, you're going to keep going, okay? You're going to keep going. You might see a fear of success later on, but that's different. If you feel a fear of success, what you're doing right now, you're posting, you're actually doing work, you're actually succeeding, you're probably independent. Let me actually write that down because that's another trait about. You're probably independent, or you probably work with a team, but even in a team you feel independent, you're a leader or whatever, charismatic. I'm going to stop glazing you now because your ego is getting too high, and we don't like that, buddy, do we? Okay, cool. Now, you probably feel independent, you probably feel support. I mean, what am I talking about? Sorry, that's a completely different thing, but you're probably posting, doing work right now. You're probably in the midst of doing work and you came across this video and you're actually grinding. Good job. But when things start to work, you get afraid. Boom. Low self-worth. If you feel low self-worth, then you probably just like, you won't even bother doing anything. Not because you're afraid of failing or afraid of succeeding. You don't feel deserving. You don't feel like you deserve to even post. You'll be like, oh, little old me can't even do that. What? It's different from failing, being like, oh, people are going to judge me. Or different from fear of succeeding where, oh, what if this actually works out? No, this is like, you don't even think you deserve it. You don't even think you're worthy of it. It didn't even cross your mind because you don't even think. That's self-concept, okay? So there you go, if you must know. The one you feel most strongly about, the ones I described, that's you. But back to fear of success, okay? Now, the reason and where fear of success comes from, like I described, responsibility, support, remember this one is very important, and independence, okay? Now, like I said, if you have a fear of success, you most likely are a person who works independently. I'm not saying you are alone, you just work independently, you like to do things in your own matters. But you also might like to work in a team. So this doesn't, just because I say independent doesn't mean you are independent, okay? You can still be dependent on people, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to be independent. Now, support, okay? The reason why this one is the most important is because the fear of success, okay, suggests that when you succeed, you are afraid, and your nervous system is afraid that you will not have the support necessary. This is why when you study the law of attraction or anything like that, you're afraid of even doing it. For example, you're afraid of booking that test flight or whatever, or that test drive, sorry, and that's where fear of failure comes in, within fear of success. You're afraid of booking that test drive, or you're afraid of going to places, the apartments, to the dream homes, the rich areas, to the places that the person you would like to become. You're afraid of doing them things because you feel that when you actually make it, there won't be support. You won't have the right people. You'll probably have fake friends. There'll be fake people around you. There won't be people to support you in your journey. Blah, 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 blah. Then, responsibility. Okay, this one right here is self-explanatory. You are literally just afraid of responsibility. Okay, let me link fear of success to actually something that'll be much more relatable and understandable. Okay. And this one is something everyone's going to relate to. So if you have a fear of failure, this is also, and low self-worth, this is also going to relate to you. Responsibility. Let me tell you something. And I'm going to shock you, buddy. Money. Everyone knows about money, okay? You want money. I want money. And if you say money is bad, you don't want money, then you're lying, okay? Even if you don't like money, you like what money can do. Money can get you your dream car. Money can get you your dream home. Money can make sure you and your family and friends can never work again. So you can hate money. I love money, buddy. And money loves me, okay? Cool. Responsibility to money. I'm gonna ask you a very interesting question here, yeah? If I gave you £1 million right now, or $1 million right now, how would you feel? And I'm not talking about the emotions up front, like damn, rich. What emotions did you feel after? 3 days later, 1 million is just chilling in your bank. What would you feel? You'd probably have a lot of questions. If you're not financially literate and you don't know what even a bank account is or LLC, you're probably like, what the fuck? How do I manage this money? How do I keep this money? How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? It's too much work. Never mind. I don't even want it. If you just paid attention to what I said, I've probably just helped you unlearn a money belief, and you can now have £1 million. It may not make sense, but rewatch what I just said. If you just realize what I said, responsibility is another thing that's blocking you from getting what you want. If you're afraid of succeeding, you're afraid of having responsibilities. Think about it this way. Yes, you want that dream car. Yes, you want that dream apartment. Yes, you want to succeed. But you don't want to do You don't want to do the meetings. You don't want to open that LLC. You don't have to make the calls. You don't have to pay them taxes. You don't have to get a mortgage. You don't have to do the businesses. You don't have to do all that extra shit. You just want the money and just to be able to have it like you're a regular person to spend it. You don't want the responsibility that comes with it. And that's why all of them are interlinked. Independence, support, and responsibility. You are an independent person, so you already carry on the weight by yourself, which I used to do. You feel like if I get successful, I won't have support. So then you avoid responsibility, because why would I even be responsible for this new success or whatever I want to do, chase my dreams and goals and become my most richest self if I am way too under supported when I actually get there? All right, that is fear of success for you. Okay. Now, this is actually the longest I ever spoke, by the way. Like, the only time I ever talk this long is low-key on streams. As you can see, I'm out of breath. I really don't do this. Whew. Let me know if you guys like this video, bro. Shit. Right, AJ? My own AJ? Okay. Now, I might actually get my little brother here. That'll be fine. I can get my little brother here. Me and make jokes. But anyways, the final route, which I talked about. Low self-worth. This is probably you. And like I said, I described it before and it's very, very self-explanatory. Low self-worth. You probably feel, or it's not even about feeling at this point actually, it's your identity, it's your self-concept. I'll probably make another video about self-concept because that's a very important thing. But self-concept as well is a niche on its own. Am I getting darker? Hope not. Self-concept is a niche on its own. But low self-worth suggests that, as I've said before, you don't even feel deserving of getting everything you want. Because, bro, you have so little trust in yourself, so little faith in yourself, and the way you view yourself, you just be like, oh, little on me, I don't deserve to get this. If someone asks you to open a business, like, yo, bro, you look like you could be an actor. That is a timeline, a version of yourself that you suggested to yourself, by the way. Every person is a reflection of you. So that could have been your mom, dad. That was most likely a sign of God for you to become the thing you need to become. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you probably got a message a week ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 3 hours ago, when someone probably came up to you and said, you would be good doing this, okay? And it's actually something you want to do. You know in deep in your heart. But you'd be like, nah. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do instead of doing what you said? You know what I'm gonna do instead of chasing my dreams and actually pursuing? I'm gonna go to work tomorrow and clock in, lad. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Low self-worth. But cool. Yes, we have low self-worth, whatever. But how did we get here? Okay? How did this happen? How did this happen? God is good, bro. God is good. Hope you guys been having a good day. Real shit. Hope you guys been having a good day. Hope you guys have eaten today. Loki, after this, I'm gonna go eat. I'm gonna go eat. What kind of hair? What am I doing here? What the? Let me just draw this real quick. Alright, let me get the red thing. Let me know what you guys been up to today, man, for real. Like, I know there's a lot of quiet ambience in the back, stuff like that, but hopefully you guys can manage. I mean, it's kind of silent, no? I don't know whether I should get music in the background. Maybe I might get music, but I don't know what music to get. Let me keep that in my pocket. I don't know what music I should put in the back. You guys let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments, bro. I don't know what music I should put. I'll be real. I don't know. But anyways, childhood. Now, we have this thing in the middle. And I'm sorry, this is supposed to rent. I was trying to go for, like, try to draw a boy and a girl because you might be one of the two, or try to draw, and I ended up with a being. It's a human at least, so I guess it relates to you. Now, these red words around are things that people have said, and they're all going into you. Pause. They're all going inside you. Okay, shut up. They're all making their way into you, okay? Whatever. Anyways, with this whole thing, in childhood, okay, when you were younger, you might have been a quirky person. You might have that weird personality. You might be that goofy kid. You might be the one that runs around, jumps around, laughs, etc., 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 etc. Okay? And what's going on here is that people have either called you weird, told you to shut up, told you to, yo, bro, you're so weird, bro. Why are you acting like that? Oh, you think you da 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 da, or like I said, when I was a kid, I was very, very energetic, very, very hyper. People used to tell me all the time, you talk too much, you move too around. Do you know what I did? I looked at them and was like, and I still did the same thing, okay? I was still running around. And not everyone's like that. Not everyone's so stubborn to the point where when people are disrespecting you, you take that and be like, I don't care what you're saying. People sometimes are, you can't always brush things off, okay? And this what stems from when you had ideas. Think about when you had ideas when you were a kid, like, oh, let's make this, let's make a spaceship. And they're like, no, bro, that's such a stupid idea. People will call your ideas stupid. They will call you silly for thinking, okay? And then the same people, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years later, will turn around and be like, yo, bro, why are you not confident? Ridiculous. Child. Oh, that's my sponge. This was my sponge that fell from the top. Oh no. Now, this right here is one of the roots that are different from, like, different to uproot, because this is your self-concept. This is your identity, okay? I would personally say that this root right here, if you have this root, it is going to be a lot different, and the way you're going to be able to tackle this root is going to be very, very different from the way you tackle all the roots, like fear of failure, fear of success, okay? Every root has a sense of identity behind it, but this low self-worth is self-concept, long story short, okay? So now with this root, okay, like I said, I described it, you're not confident in yourself, you don't believe in yourself, you don't trust in yourself. The amount of self-trust you have is minimal, okay? And we need to work on to changing that, okay? I've just explained how you have it, okay? So with low self-worth, how and the qualities you will see. Low self-trust. Okay? Low self-trust. Lack of confidence. And finally, doubts. These are three things. You have doubt, most likely low self-confidence, and low self-trust. These things will all link within each other, and they're gonna make one big monster that's gonna look intimidating, but there's nothing intimidating that you've created. You have, and I'm not saying consciously, but unconsciously you have created it, but whatever you create, you can uncreate, okay? It's gonna appear like one big monster, okay? Let me draw the monster here so you can actually look at its ugly face. This is the big monster, yeah? Okay? It's ugly, yeah? Ugly, yeah? Look at it. Look at it, yeah? Ugly, yeah? This monster, that's the monster. Why does he look so shocked? Eagle. Nasty, that's a nasty monster, eh? But looking at him, there's a sense of ease, because now you actually know what you're looking at, okay? Low self-trust, lack of confidence, and doubt. These are all qualities you might have experienced. So for example, let's say you want to go for a run tomorrow, okay? You're gonna go sleep tonight, you're telling yourself, oh, I want to sleep at 11 tonight, and tomorrow at 7 I want to wake up. And then the next thought in your mind be like, you know what, nah bro, I always stay up late. Nah, I'm not doing that, never mind. There's no point in me doing that, because I know I always stay up late. Lack of confidence. Bro, go to this meeting, you have an interview tomorrow, and you're just nervous, you're just like, oh, what if they don't like me? Oh, what if they don't like me? Ooh, what if they don't think I'm amazing? Ooh, what if they don't think I'm pretty? Ooh, ooh, ooh. All these extra little things, okay? All these things attribute to lack of confidence. And number 3, doubt. You don't trust in your grind, in your ability. Even if you're trying to do things and manifest, let's say you manifest or anything, law of attraction or whatever, you doubt it. You're just like, bro, I doubt this. I don't know. That's your friend. That's your friend. Okay? That's your friend. We need to decreate him. Okay? We need to decreate him little by little. Decreate him little by little. And how we do that And how we do that is by confronting each single one of these, okay? Let me write down the next bit. Because I was going to explain low self-worth, but it's important for me to do all three real quick. So, in my book, Don't Leave It Till Later, which will be the link in the description, it gives you exercises to come up with procrastination. I'm going to give you an exercise, okay, from the book, and I won't always do this from the book because then it would. No, I will give you. Well, I'm getting a law of circulation. I'll give it to you because someone's going to pirate my book. I'm saying it. Someone's going to pirate the hell out of this book, so I have no choice. But yeah, I'm going to give you guys an exercise, okay? So, I'll give you in a minute. But let's go over the three. So, with fear of failure, fear of success, and low self-worth, we need to be able to tackle all of these because that's why you came into the video and this is how you're going to be able to conquer it. So, let's write it down. Fear of what? Fear of failure. Come. Next one, we have fear of what? Fear of success. And the last one, we have what? Low self-worth. It's time to pack these in. So, to my people who have a fear of failure, okay? To the people who have the fear of failure, who are afraid of failing, this is what I want you to start doing, okay? Number one, I'm going to give the exercise from the book. Now, this is an exercise that is popular, okay? And let me go ahead to go to the page. I think it was page 70. Okay. Let me see. We're gonna do something real quick, okay? Fear of failure. Like I said, fear of failure comes from a sense of judgment. So we need to do something that's going to trick your brain into believing that no one is going to judge you, okay? We need to get your brain into a mindset and get you in a state where I can post freely, no one's going to care, no one's going to judge me, it's none of their business and it's none of mine. So here's what I want you to do. If you have the fear of failure, and I can't find this technique, bro, if you have the fear of failure, okay? I want you to do little work. I found it. Little work. And I mean little, I mean minute. You're not going to do a lot today. You're not going to do a lot today. And on purpose. This is not an excuse to be lazy, okay? Still do the things you have to do. But if you want to post content, okay? If you want to post content. And what I'm going to tell you is going to be very, very interesting because this book talks about it. Let me rub these out. I'm going to use the example of posting content because this is going to be the best way to describe what I want to do. If you want to make a video, a skit, okay? You now are only allowed 2 minutes to do so. You heard me right. You are only allowed 2 minutes to make that video, okay? When 2 minutes is up, you cannot touch that again. The task you want to do, you cannot touch it. If you want to make a skit, if you want to make an educational video, you only have 2 minutes to make it. Set a timer on your phone. 2 minutes, start working on it. If you want to open a business, you want to work on that business, you want to work at your clothing brand, you want to do a new design, for this whole day, and I'm telling you, this is very, very important for procrastination, okay? You are only allowed 2 minutes to draw on a design. That's it, 2 minutes. Now, if you are eager to really, really get to work, and this is what we want to create dopamine in wanting to do more work. This is the whole purpose, okay? 2 minutes to work on your clothing brand every hour, okay? Every hour you are only allowed 2 minutes. So by the end of the day, let's say for example you work on it for 4 hours, okay? You've only worked on the thing you want to work for 8 minutes. Now, this is going to create a sense of urgency, and do not create and do not confuse this with pressure. You are doing this purposely to train your mind, okay? Do not think, no, I feel so behind. No, you are doing this strategically. Everything we're doing is strategic. Remember that. What we're doing is strategic. We're not putting ourselves under unnecessary pressure. We are building a sense of urgency, because when you're procrastinating, you don't have urgency. There's a lack of urgency. You think I can do it tomorrow. If you're something you're passionate about, 2 minutes. And what you'll find is that tomorrow, you'll be like, ooh, I want to do my work for 2 minutes. I want to do a little bit more. The reason why this gets rid of judgment is because you don't even do things that look big enough. You've shrunken the whole thing you want to do into 2 minutes, and you've made it so quick. You've literally made it so quick to the point where you don't even notice it. Okay? That's your fear of failure. You have 2 minutes to do your task. And that's pretty much all I have for you. So if you want to leave the video, feel free to leave the video. Make sure you leave a like on your way out. But yeah. Now, to my people who have a fear of success, let me get the book. Here is what I want you to do. Because if you have a fear of success, what's going on here? What's going on here is that you are actually doing the work. You're posting the videos, you're grinding, and things is working, okay? Things is actually working. And you probably spent a lot of time, and I'm talking hours, on your craft. It's going to be quite similar to what we did with the fear of failure, but it has its differences. Now, I want you to be realistic with yourself. Ask yourself, how much time do I need to work on my business and everything I want to work on? So, for example, we're going to do 1 hour. Okay? You're working on your business and you need 1 hour. Okay? You want to work on it for 1 hour today. What you're going to do, fear of success, you're going to divide that by 3. So now, you only get 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Once you've done the 20 minutes, I want you to write down how it felt to work on something that takes so long in such a short amount of time. And within these 20 minutes, don't rush by all means, and don't feel under pressure. But do as much as you can within these 20 minutes. And I need you to go ahead and get a journal or get a book. This book does it for you, okay? And write down, how did it feel to work on something that took so much time for about 20 minutes? The reason why we're doing this is because we're going to create love for your craft. You cannot get rid of fear. You cannot get rid of hate. You can only transmute that emotion. We're going to transmute your fear of work to a love of work. We're going to make you love what you do to the point where when you succeed, it was inevitable. When you succeed, this is amazing, okay? Because if you are afraid of it, that just clearly goes to show that you don't love it to the extent you do. Now you may love it, and you obviously claim to love it, which is true, but 20 minutes, buddy. Divide your time by 3, okay? Divide your time by 3. Now, low self-worth. I know I'm not going to tell you to do no affirmations. I'm not going to tell you to go to the mirror, take off all your clothes and say, I am confident. I am confident. I'm not going to tell you to go on YouTube and listen to some confident vibrations. I am confident. No. You're going to, bro. Now, you can do that. Don't get me wrong. Affirmations do work for some, okay? Do work. But that's not the point here. Low self-worth. Now, here's what I want you to do. 2 tasks. Number 1, I want you to get a piece of paper. Okay? And number 1, I don't know why I drew that. I want you to get a piece of paper. And the first thing I want you to do is to write down everything you want to do. You want to do. By the way, you want. I'm not talking about things you have to do. I'm not talking about your obligations like a job. You have to wake up tomorrow morning to work. No, everything you want to do. Let it be as extreme or minimal as possible. You want to become a singer. You want to become an actor. You want to become a flight attendant, a flight pilot. You want to become rich. You want to become successful. You want to become famous. Okay? Now, I want you to get a piece of paper, and at the top of the page, right? Do this alone, by the way. Do this alone. Do this alone in your room if you have a room. And if you live in a place where there's like a lot of family members, because me, I have like 3 brothers, sorry, so my house gets very crowded. try to find a separate place. Go out to the park if you need to, or anywhere. Go to somewhere where you will just be alone, where no one will disturb you and no one can see what you're doing. Not because you're trying to be secret, but because this is sacred, okay? Now, you're going to write at the top of the page, Dear Past Me. Now, I want you to adopt the identity and the viewpoint of a more confident version of yourself. Listen to what I'm saying. I want you to adopt the viewpoint or the identity, whichever one makes more sense to you, the identity of a person who is more confident than you, okay? Which is still you, but you're more confident. So this could be a version of you that is more confident, the version you visualize in your mind, okay? Now, when you write Dear Past Me, you're going to write to the child version of yourself, as though you are giving a letter to him or her, okay? Now, I want you to avoid using the phrases, I hope, and I'm going to tell you what to write. I hope, I wish, avoid using these. I hope, I wish, I think, I'll try, anything that's suggestive, okay? Avoid all these phrases, any suggestive. Be confident. Now, what you're going to write, you are going to write, number one, from the perspective of a person who is confident and who has achieved everything you want to do. You're going to write down on a piece of paper everything you want to do. You're going to write out from that perspective, and you're going to write it in a way where you've already achieved this. So you're going to write, for example, Dear Past Me, I know as a child you wanted to do this. I went out of my way to make this work for you. Every morning when I wake up, I live my best life. And I know you'll be proud of me. I know that you would appreciate everything I'm doing. I love doing what I'm doing. I am so confident. I feel so much more better than before. Everything I'm working on is working out for me, okay? People doubted me, but I trusted myself. Right? In that tone, in that format. The reason why is because, like I said, it is different for you, okay? Before you get into work, it is identity. All of this is identity, like I said, self-concept. So we're not even going to focus on doing work, okay? And should you improve your self-concept and self-worth, the amount of progress you will make when you actually do work will be insane, okay? It will be undoubtedly insane. Because when you actually go into work, everything will work out for you. I hope you know that, okay? It is cause, then it's effect. It is not effect and effect. It is cause, then it's effect, okay? So, write down everything. It's kind of like scripting, yes, but write down and be truthful. These are all the ways I want you guys to adopt this. Now, if you guys want the anti-procrastination journal, I'm going to go over it now. It is, like I said, available in the link down below. Now, this book is called Don't Leave It Till Later, okay? It is an anti-procrastination journal, and I know you've heard about the other book, The Power in Saying No. That one is like another one of my favorites, but this one right here is another important one, okay? Don't Leave It Till Later. Don't Leave It Till Later, okay, is a book where you just, don't leave it till later in it. Like, I don't want to make this like, it's a revolutionary idea. Don't leave it till later. Like, no, it's not that deep. Don't leave it till later. Literally suggests you shouldn't leave anything till later, okay? This book is designed to create a sense of urgency within you. Now, the book is split into 4 sections: understanding procrastination, exercises to conquer it, the anti-procrastination journal, and finally, digging into the root of procrastination, okay? We kind of went over section 4 today and went over section 2, which was exercises and digging into the root. And the way this works is that the bread and butter of this book and the whole purpose of this book is that you have a 30-day journaling entry, okay? Every morning and every night, you're going to track your procrastination. And what I mean by track is you're going to write down how you feel, what happens whenever you procrastinate, what time, what happens in a situation, what distractions do you notice, what feelings do you come up with? Is there resistance? Is there love? Is there hate? Is there anger? Etc. 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 We're going to track emotions. So by the end of 30 days, okay, whilst you're working on your business, okay, you're going to break down working on your business rather than saying I want to work on my clothing brand. On day one, daily page, you might say, I want to write 5 designs today. I want to draw 5 designs today. You've broken down your task and it's much more easier for you to focus. It's like a planner, anti-procrastination journal, habit tracker, everything that ends in cur or whatever, all in one, okay? By the end of the 30 days, you're going to have a spreadsheet of your emotions, feelings, times when you get distracted, places where you get distracted, and you're going to be able to see, boom, oh, I procrastinate when Jimmy walks into my room and disturbs me. and messes up my room. That makes me feel angry, and when I feel angry, I feel incompetent. When I feel incompetent, I don't want to do the work, and that links to a sense of failure, and boom, 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 so I procrastinate. Boom. Okay? People will suggest online that you might need medicine. Now, if you do need medical advice, this book is not a substitute for chronic medical illness. Though I'm sure you watching this video, you don't have a chronic mental illness of procrastination. I hope not. And if you are going through that, I apologize. I'm sorry to hear that. But this book is not a substitute for it, and I put that in disclaimer. So don't come at me and saying that, yo, bro, you didn't fix my chronic procrastination. Bro, I've never claimed it would. What I'm saying, these are techniques that's going to help you. It is not going to do it for you. Nothing, no book, no journal, no video, no piece of information you will receive will do the work for you. You need to do the work for you. Okay? You need to have a system, a framework that's going to help you build what you want to build that business, get to the next level. Okay? It is available on Amazon. You can go ahead and get yourself a copy. This book will be your best friend. Okay? And I believe the next video we'll be making is in the power in saying no. Now, if you are a person who lacks self-confidence, who is shy, who is unable to say no to people, this book, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with these videos, because this book is gonna teach you how to say no and reject anyone. Okay? How to stop letting people walk over you. But today we focused on procrastination. Those are your 3 main routes. And go ahead and give it a try. Let me know how it feels like in the comments. How it went in the comments. And I'll see you guys next time I see you guys. Alright? See you later.